Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Steve Long Show. We've had a pretty eventful week. Today is November 17th, 2019. And, it's been a while since I did my last podcast. And a lot has unfolded with the impeachment hearings since then. Now, before I get into anything impeachment, this has been a pretty eventful week and eventful weekend as well. We're about to start a new week here, coming up on Thanksgiving pretty soon. But I would like to talk about, things like Colin Kaepernick. Yes, Colin Kaepernick is back in the news. He had a workout with 25 NFL teams. So there were 25 NFL teams who sent representatives out, scouts out, to watch Colin Kaepernick work out for the teams. And it seems that this was orchestrated by Jay-Z. And Jay-Z has a big hand in the NFL now, and he supposedly got Roger Goodell to arrange this meeting. It's a bit funny because throughout the whole thing, Colin Kaepernick has a former teammate who said it himself that they should not engage Colin Kaepernick in giving him a workout because this was only meant to be a publicity stunt. And what ended up happening was, so Colin Kaepernick was supposed to have a workout with the NFL at I believe it was at the Atlanta Stadium, the Atlanta Falcons Stadium, and it was supposed to be private, but they even went to great lengths to accommodate Colin Kaepernick. They were going to allow him to use his own wide receivers and to bring his own camera crew. Seriously, are we serious? He can bring a camera crew? What's wrong with Jay-Z? Why would Jay-Z go out of his way to vouch for someone like this? But anyways, so he gets all of these special accommodations, and he didn't want to sign some sort of waiver, and he acted as if this waiver was something out of the ordinary, and that they're treating him differently in some sort of way. But all it was a waiver, pretty much, so that in case he got injured, they are not liable. And it's just ludicrous that this guy, for the past 3 years, gets all this attention, and people play into his, antics. So what did he do when it came down to it? When it came down to it, he would not sign the waiver, and he had a change in venue. So he went to some high school, brought his camera crew, and did a workout at some high school football field, and he was a no-show at his NFL workout. I got a question. The guy probably doesn't even care about going back in the NFL. I honestly don't think any of this has anything to do with going back in the NFL. He has something wrong with him, a screw loose, if you will. I don't understand how someone needs that much attention. If it were me and I was really about, going back to trying to get back into the NFL, I would not have a camera crew. I would sign a waiver, and I would just go do the workout, the way they want me to do it, and hope that, because not only did he have people from 25 teams there that were going to watch him, but they were going to send the film back to the other, what is it? The other 7 teams that weren't up. He had most of the NFL there to watch him. But, people got to understand that this is not about the NFL being racist, okay? Anyone who thinks that is an idiot. If you think that, you are someone who is led around as a shepherd leads a flock around. You've probably never had an original thought in your life. So what it really is about is that if you, let's say the Chicago Bears picked up Colin Kaepernick tomorrow. Let's say the Cincinnati Bengals picked up Colin Kaepernick tomorrow. I mean, Cincinnati's usually, but let's say, Chicago is one of those teams that's struggling at the quarterback position. They could use another quarterback, say they were to get him, even if he was good. And that's the thing, another thing. He wasn't good. People don't remember this. He was great for about his first 2 seasons or so. And then he ended up being a second-string quarterback. And then he started kneeling during the national anthem. He was no longer hot stuff. So he had to get attention some other way. So let's say, though, the Chicago Bears, because it was talked about, it was trending on Twitter a night that Mitchell Trubisky was doing poorly in a game. Why not bring Colin Kaepernick? So let's pretend they do, and let's pretend he does phenomenal, and you're either way, if he's doing good or not, you're going to have about at least half of your fans walk away from your team. Probably some for life, and is it worth picking him up? If I'm the Oakland Raiders, maybe, or the Cleveland Browns, it has to be some sort of disaster of a team to pick him up. It can't be one of these teams that's in playoff contention. It can't be one of these teams, let's say the Patriots picked him up. I mean, the Patriots got Tom Brady, but you get what I'm saying. If someone picks him up, it's got to be like the Jacksonville Jaguars. It's got to be some team that's just terrible and needs some attention. But you're not going to do a whole lot of good if you're an owner of a team and you pick him up. You know that it's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you a whole lot of money. And well, it might be a game, but at the end of the day, it's about, dollars and cents. And these people are trying to make money. The NFL is not UNICEF. I know Colin Kaepernick might like to think, people should be bending over backwards for him, and that if they don't, they are racist. But in reality, every owner in the NFL has to protect their cash cow, which is their team, their livelihood. Okay, you can't go out and pick up a scrub like Colin Kaepernick and let it just destroy your whole, everything you've built. And there's a reason the 49ers got rid of him. Not only was he a distraction, but he was hurting the organization. And wherever he goes, if he gets a gig, he's going to hurt whatever team that is. I just wish this guy would go away. You know, what would be phenomenal, though, if we want him to go away, is that if he gets on a team and then he sucks, and then gets cut, that would really be the end of Colin Kaepernick. See, the thing is, he wants to keep this going. That's why he skipped his own workout, because he's got to keep the lie going that he's not getting on a team because he's black or because he kneeled for the Pledge of Allegiance. Which, yes, you're going, why would I have you on my team if you're going to do that? Even if it didn't cost money and I was an owner, I would fire whatever player did that. If there weren't massive financial, repercussions that would happen as a result of having on my team, say that wasn't an issue, I would still not want him on my team. Because I want people who are proud of our country, people who stand for the flag and support our troops, because that's what it is to me. When you don't stand for the flag, you're spitting in the face of all of those men and women in uniform who have fought to keep this nation safe and free. And I just cannot tolerate someone like Colin Kaepernick. Really, this is a sore loser. That's what he is. He's a sore loser. He lost his starting position, and he's been a sore loser ever since then. You want to look at someone like Alex Smith, who was a guy who started and then lost his gig to Colin Kaepernick, and then went on to play for another team. Look, when Alex Smith lost his starting job, he didn't start, acting like a crybaby. He didn't have to go out of his way to gain some sort of attention. But this is all of what Colin Kaepernick is about. He's a sore loser. Big time loser. And he's not going to get back in the NFL. And I think, and the funny thing is he said that in the name of transparency, he went to go hold his workout at some high school. Look, in the name of transparency, you have no transparency because you're a schemer and you're full of it. But moving along, we also had yesterday a big election. There was a gubernatorial runoff in Louisiana, and it seems as if the Democrat just squeaked it off. He just got by and got reelected. And it's what I got to say about this is it's not. A lot of people always point to these elections that are, before we have 2020 people point at these and they say, but by the way, it was pretty weird that they voted on Saturday, but anyways, don't mean to get sidetracked. It's just, I can't say that this is a bellwether, and I'll explain why. You are in Louisiana, correct, right? Louisiana is a pretty red state. Very odd that a Democrat might get elected to begin with and then re-elected. But here's the deal with this and why it's not a bellwether, is that this is not your typical Democrat. He's not the same as an Elizabeth Warren. If Elizabeth Warren is running, her policy is much different. Her platform is much different. Much further left. This is a guy who's pro-life. He's a very conservative Democrat, and he's conservative. He's pro-Second Amendment. It's just, this is not a bellwether. And he must be doing something right that he got reelected. So people must not have a problem with him too much. But, you know, I gotta say, the Republican he was down a lot as of a few weeks ago, really came close to winning that. And, it looked like he was going to win it by a little bit. Throughout the night, he was in the lead right up until the end. It was a surprise thing. And you got to credit the president. He went out there, I believe he made 3 trips, and he was, working hard to try and get this guy elected, this guy who started out so low in the polls, and he came that close. So, with the last 2 elections, both times Republicans lost, but, it's President Trump, and people won't, the mainstream media will say that the president, he had a crushing defeat. They'll say that this is a sign to say for 2020 he's not going to win. But what happened in both of these elections is that you had Republican candidates who weren't very close, and you had the president carry them almost over the finish line. So you gotta really think that Donald Trump must be in a strong position, at least in those states. His popularity is better than what people think. So I feel somewhat confident going into 2020. But we have to see what's going to happen with this bogus impeachment. So they got the impeachment inquiry going, and this week they had a few people testify. And it's, the whole thing has been a joke, because you have Adam Schiff deciding who can and can't ask questions, and it's just not worth talking about much, because nothing's happening, A, and B, I don't think it deserves a whole lot of attention. Democrats are doing this for a reason. They want to put out a bogus show trial to stain the image of the president. And I believe that the more attention you give to this, the more that you validate it, and the more that people might out there be believing something like this. So it's Marie Yovanovitch. She testified. Now they're saying the president was intimidating the witness. President Trump wrote a tweet saying about how bad Marie Yovanovitch was, and people did not like that. Adam Schiff read the tweet to Marie Yovanovitch in a live time, and here's the thing, is this. First off, she's on the stand, right? She's testifying. And she's not looking at Twitter. So how would he be intimidating the witness if she's not going to see it until after she testifies? And Adam Schiff then reads her the tweet. And it's just, this whole process is silly. And that's about it. I'm not going to give too much attention to it. On the Republican side, they really need to get their stuff together. Lindsey Graham is a failure, a disappointment, and he needs to do something. And I've heard a lot of people say Chuck DeGrassi, or whatever his name is, he's going to take over as the chair in January. He's going to take over Lindsey Graham's spot, and then that's when things are going to start happening, is when an 86-year-old is going to take over the chair. Are we serious? Republicans in Congress, in the Senate, in the House are a joke. They're laughingstock. I have to wonder, why is it that Democrats always seem to get away with crimes? They're able to prosecute crimes against Republican figures. I mean, look at Roger Stone. Roger Stone could be facing up to 50 years in prison. Democrats are able to get people locked up when we can't even bring people to trial. Marie Yovanovitch lied to Congress on 2 occasions that we know of. Yet, no one says a thing on the Republican side. They say that she did, but where is the action? Where is the action? It drives me up a wall when I hear people who are, congressmen or women, who will bring up instances, like, let's say Marie Yovanovitch lied. And they'll say, well, yeah, she lied under oath. She committed perjury. I hate when they say that on the news, because if I was the anchor or the person interviewing them, I would have to ask, why haven't you done anything about that? Isn't there something you can do? If she committed perjury, if she lied under oath to Congress, I mean, we have Roger Stone going to prison for the rest of his life, and we all know we just had Marie Yovanovitch do the same thing, and nothing. Republicans are unwilling to go after her. Why is that? Because Republicans are weak and ineffective, and have been. And Donald Trump is really the only thing people have going for them. He's really the only one doing anything. And all he can rely on is executive order, because even when he had the Congress, he had the House, he had the Senate, they did nothing for him. They didn't pass any meaningful legislation other than tax cuts. And the tax cuts were great. But how long did people talk about passing or repealing and replacing the Affordable Care Act. Didn't happen. They had the chance to do it day one of President Trump's administration, and they did not do it. It's been pathetic. Pathetic. Lindsey Graham is pathetic. There's nothing I hate more than someone who talks a good game and never does anything. He is pathetic. And to anyone out there who says to me, because I criticized Lindsey Graham, they also, well, trust the plan. Never question anything. Trust the plan. So we're waiting on an 86-year-old to be the savior. He's going to be the chair of the Judiciary Committee in the Senate. Is it Grassley or DeGrasse? I don't know. I don't really care. He's 86 years old. The guy should be somewhere in a retirement home or something. 86 years old. He's almost 90 years old. He's in Congress. I'm serious. We should have age limits. I don't care if you think he's so great. You shouldn't be saying Joe Biden's too old if we have an 86-year-old that we're cheering on to be the chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee. And I went to go, after I heard how old this guy was, I had to go watch videos of him speak. And he's pretty, I mean, he's not losing it or anything, but he's just too old to be there. 86 years old. People need to wake up, because just to see people cheerlead, people like Lindsey Graham, makes me sick, and it always made me sick. People cheerleading Lindsey Graham has always made me vomit in my mouth. I remember during the the Kavanaugh hearings when he got loud and put on a good act, trying to look tough. And everyone was saying, oh, I love Lindsey Graham. He's such a great guy. Totally not a RINO. Totally not. You all got played like fools. This guy is the king of the RINOs. I mean, go back. I mean, here's the beautiful thing about YouTube and the internet, is you can go and look up things that happened in the past, videos from the past. Go back to the election, the primary. I don't know if a lot of people remember this, but Lindsey Graham was someone who ran for president. Go see who his biggest backer was. It was John McCain. John McCain and Lindsey Graham are the two biggest warmongers, neocons that we had in the Congress. And he ran. He didn't get much traction at all. Almost none. And one of my favorite parts of the whole campaign, well, at least in the primaries, was when President Trump was he had a whole bunch of reporters asking him questions, and he gave out Lindsey Graham's personal cell